The First Light Beacon has developed since the last guide that we put out. So we're going to create a new guide for the First Light Beacon. And there's the installation right there. And this is how it comes default. This is what it looks like default. And I'm going to go over each setting. And the first thing that I do when I get onto this is I literally just go to style and I remove all these lines. I just like the mid lines to be there. And that's it. That's what I like. Some people like the lines, I don't. Um, but there we go. And then there's the zones, and here's the end caps, buy and sell signals. So we're just going to go over every setting and what they do and how to use them. All right. So the first setting on here is trade mode, and there's two modes. There's intraday and there's scalping. If you look at the tooltip, it explains to you which one each one is. Intraday is allowing name sessions and scalping is allowing time-based zones. So if you switch this to intraday, that's going to make this function right here work. Okay. So we're going to be able to change to the daily candle. We're going to be able to change to one of the name sessions, New York, London, Asia, 10 to 10:30 weekly or monthly. Okay. And then if we go to scalping on the trade mode, we're going to get time-based zones. So this is going to be a 15-minute zone. This is going to be a 45-minute zone, right? And if you see on the screen, they're changing. So now this is a 45-minute support and resistance created off the 45-minute candle. But if you want to go down to like a 4 hour, which is 240 minutes, there you go. You have a 4 hour zone and end caps, 4 hour end caps where price is reacting to those zones like that. So that's what that setting is going to do there. Now, here's the alert settings. This is it's tricky, but it's not. It's really not. So for scalping zones, so that's basically the time-based zones. So every time there's a new zone that forms, you can get an alert. You have to select which time frame you want the alert, right? So every 15 minutes, every 45 minutes, whatever. And then you go over here and you click add alert and you go to new scalping zone and it will create that alert based on whatever you select here. Now, end cap zone alerts. Say you want to know when price touches one of these end caps, like this 15-minute end cap right here. It's a good thing to know price touches one of these things. This is not a strategy video, but you can come down, you get an alert, it touched it, and you buy, right? And your stop loss goes there, and then you go for the high or something like that. This is one of our strategies. This is one of our main strategies right there. It's just end cap. That's the pinpoint retracement areas and where reversals are. And if you look, let's see there, and then here's another one there, and it happens all day, every day. And if you do nothing but wait for those, you'll make a lot of money. But let's go on to the next settings. So that's the end caps. The alerts for the end caps. All right, and then we have intervals. This is just showing new zones and previous zones, the start of them, so that you can backtest. Show and buy and fill zone. That is just literally turning off the fill. Let me go to a smaller time camera or candle here, and you can see it. So now we just have a midline. This is useful for some of our midline cross strategies, where you have another FLB on here at another time frame, and when the midlines cross up, you buy, and then when they cross back down, you get out of the trade. Now, those are strategies that we use, but again, this is not a strategy video. This is a guide on how to use this. So this right here will turn those on and off where you just see the midlines. Now you can change your colors all you want right here. You can change your end cap colors. Here is our candle color where you can turn it on and off, and you can use the built-in candle coloring. The first option, I believe, is our RSI candles. So when they're blue, it's going to be bullish. When they're pink or I think red as well, I can't remember. No, just pink. Yeah, there's some red. That is bearish, and then anything in between is kind of considered neutral, consolidating, or whatever. Then we have our proprietary ones, which is two, which is green is up and red is down. That is just the trend type candle that's using some stuff that we built into this. Now, option 3 is contraction and expansion. So it is attempting to show you green is expanding and white is contracting, and then red and purple are kind of expanding down. So this is really good for higher time frames. I don't like them. I don't like using it on lower time frames, but on higher time frames, it will help you find if you're in contraction or expansion, because the market's always contracting or expansion or expanding. So there's your candle colors. These are just the colors for the ones that are that you can change. The vertical line at 30%. So if you turn that on, it just puts a vertical line on the active zone that you're on at 30% of the zone. So see this right here? And the reason for that is more often than not, if you get into a new zone's created and you don't have your signal that you want, your move that you want before this line pops up, you're more than likely not going to get it for the rest of that zone. Okay. That is just, it's just a statistic that after 30% of a new candle, it either breaks out or breaks down or it just consolidates. So this is just a way to say, hey, you might want to be more careful trading past this line, wait for a new zone to form. That's all that is. And it's actually a pretty neat feature, and it has saved me from getting into bad trades. Our doji zones, okay, so we can turn those on. That is actually going to give us doji zones based on the candle that we select. Sorry, right here you can select a time frame. So we're using chart, or you can go to 1 minute or 2 minute or up to 15 minutes, and it will find doji candles and try to give you retracement, better retracement areas or whatever. So here's a big doji right here, and if anybody knows anything about dojis, price will either reject it and it acts as kind of a support and resistance short term. If you're using higher time frame candles, it will act as support or resistance, and it gives you a method to trade off of. It works really well if you're scalping. Now here is our next feature is the squeeze zone. So this is giving you a zone to stay out of, right? So here's an example of a bull flag entry just right here, right here. We don't, I'm going to turn these sell buy signals off. We're going to talk about those in a minute. So using all of these combined right now, the way this is, we get a rejection off of this end cap right here, right? So we get this rejection off this end cap. This is just a quick little strategy and why the squeeze zone is important. We break out, it comes down, right? We get a whole new zone form, and then price pushes up over the zone. The beacon line pushes up over the zone, which is this red and green line. It's our proprietary line here. And all of this is happening, and it finally engulfs, and you get your bull flag break, and you're over the squeeze zone. The entry for something like that is literally right here on this candle when it finally does that. And that's leaving the squeeze zone. So if you look, it has gone out of, it has broken above the squeeze zone. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to hide the candle so you can see it. See, price has blown through the squeeze zone, and we're going to buy that right there. And then we're going to scalp whatever it is, we're scalping or we're trading, whatever. You can go to the high, something like that, right? And there you go. So there is why the squeeze zone is important to use, and why it's in the indicator. Now, the next setting that you can use, you can change the color of that, is the beacon line. You can enable or disable that. I don't know why you would ever disable it, but that is that kind of moving average that is extremely accurate, and we use it for confirmations of all kinds of things. A lot of times we won't even enter a trade like this unless this beacon line comes into the zone and comes back up out of it. That is a really good way to find out what price is doing. But if you notice it right here, price breaks up over this zone, comes down, respects zone, and pushes up through the squeeze in the beacon, and we're on our way up to get into a nice scalp up. So that is the beacon line, and you can turn it on and off. Now, our contraction and expansion settings. So let's turn off the squeeze zone and just clean up this a little bit. So we can turn all these on, and it will attempt to find contraction and expansion areas. It's really nice when you're using it on like a 5 or 2 minute time frame. You will see right here. I'm going to turn off the end caps so that we can see it better, but I use it both, at the same time when I'm using this. So this will form right here, right? And wait for the indicator to update. It's still thinking. Okay, there it is. And then once that forms, there you go. You see this line right here that's coming out? That's your expansion line. If you can stay above this, you're going bullish. So look at this one right here. Your expansion line right here, it's wicking, 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 and it's still pushing. So how would you trade that? Well, you could, once you're getting these wicks and the breaks, well, here's another expansion line right here you could trade up to, which is 335 ticks, right? But then there's another rejection and it just breaks out up. So the contraction expansion, the market is always contracting and then expanding. And this just attempts to find those areas on whatever time frame you're trading on. And it's a pretty neat feature to have in this indicator. So here we go. And then you can change the colors, whatever. And then the FLB signals, which are these signals right here. Let's turn on our end caps again. And these signals are really, really accurate. I really like them for when I'm manually or kind of semi-auto trading the NT8 bot. I will go to a Renko candle and turn it on and go over to a 45-minute zone here, right? And set my settings to, I don't know, about 10 on the box size on the Renko. And when I get a buy signal that's after a rejection of one of these end caps right here, I turn the bot on for longs only and let it run. And look at that. That's going to scalp up. The bot's going to scalp up. It's got 700 ticks there to play with. And then right here, I'll do it again. So if we get a drop back down and then it breaks up over the beacon line and we have a buy signal, I turn the bot on and I put longs only on, right? And now for underneath this zone, I might take this signal and short only on the bot, right? And here it is right here. So if I'm below or above, but I really, the really good ones are when they bounce off these end caps. This is an end cap right here. And when it breaks up and goes, that is a really good way of getting into the trades, turning on the bots, doing whatever it is you're going to do. And this is literally our textbook standard trade right here. That's it. So you get a break of or a bounce off of an end cap. And after a nice decent retracement, a lollygagging retracement is what I call it, not a drop real fast, and then it pushes up. And I get into the trade, and your stop loss sits at this zone, and you're looking at 222 ticks for a gain of 960, so a risk to reward of over 4, which is really good. Now if you look at this, here's another one, and you could have taken this long here using that same strategy. Now this we have videos for this strategy, you can go and check them out. But there's a 2000 tick run right there, and that's pretty simple to do, and you're getting buy and sell signals. So this is the guide for the First Light Beacon. You also have these right here. You can turn all these on and off. There's just input settings and this and that. But if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I will answer it. Hope this helps. All right, so I almost forgot the alert functions. Let's go over that real quick. All right, so the alert functions on there are, we have new scalping zone, the beacon is turned green or red, end cap touched the top, the bottom, buy or sell signals. Now, here is a really cool other way to use alerts with this thing. Okay, so you can literally go like this. I can go, I want to know when price has touched, the buy line right here. So we're going price crossing. So if you want to scalp these rejections, like say right here, you hit price is crossing and then you select FLB, then buy line, and then on bar close or once per bar, once per minute. I would do once per minute because I want to know the second it touches. I don't want to wait till the bar closes. And then you'll get an alert when this happens on this zone, right? Another really cool way to create alerts is to add another First Light Beacon, right? And say, and this is kind of one of our strategies here, but I'm just showing you how to do the alerts. So here's 15 minutes. Let's turn off end caps. We don't want candle coloring. We don't want buy signals, right? We don't want the lines. So I'm going to turn all these off. And I don't really, I care about the midline. All right, so, and then let's change the color of the 30-minute zone. So that one we'll just say is yellow, and we'll do yellow end caps, right? So we can see the difference and separate them. Now, let's go to a smaller time frame. It'll actually be more definitive. Now see how these zones are breaking apart from each other, right? This right here, this can be a signal. This is a precursor to this retracement right here, right? So what am I talking about? All right, look. So this is the 15 and 30. They're in lockstep with each other. They're moving together. Watch. So here's just 15 and here's just 30, right? Now, when the 15 breaks up, there it goes right there. That's the 15 midline leaving the 30 zone. You can get an alert. And once that happens, you can be like, oh, I need to pay attention, right? And then the trade is right here. Watch. Okay, there's the trade. There's your end cap. So a new 30-minute zone just formed. And this is a whole bunch of unfulfilled orders sitting in here, right? So what you can do, some people do is they put a limit order right there and their stop loss right here and go for a 2-to-1, right? Now let's see what happens if you were to actually do that real quick. Let's do that. Boom. There's your win right there. That is one of the main things that I do when I'm scalping is I look for these breakaways. So this did it right here. I'm gonna turn off the candle so you can see it, right? This broke away from there and I'm waiting for price to come back down and touch the end cap. So you can get an alert before it happens. And that's this breakaway right here. Now this is how you do it. So first of all, we want to know the 15-minute is our first one in the list, right at the top. And then our 30 is the second. So what do? We go to add. Oh, we're in replay. We can't add alert. So one sec. All right. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to go add alert. What are we going to do? FLB, right? Yeah, FLB crossing. So now FLB midline right here, crossing up, right? And then we select this and we go to the second FLB in the list, which is our 30-minute. Is crossing up. You can go midline. I go to the buy line. So basically their midline is crossing up through the top of the zone, right? And once per bar close, click. You're going to know every single time this happens, boom. And then you can come look and see if the conditions are met to get into the trade, right? Like I showed you earlier right here. So the conditions were met. And you can do the limit orders like that, or you can watch and scalp. So this is where it happened. It happened at 12:30, and at 12:48 you were in the trade. So you had a 15-minute heads up that hey, a trade is coming. This is the coolest thing in the world. This is one of the main reason why our pros use this. Okay. All right. That is the alert system. If you have any questions this time, ask in the comments below.